have a quick listen to the most popular song by Cobra Starship.
You'll be that girl, you'll be that girl, you'll be everything you want, so let me get out there.
Now, insanely, I don't remember this song. I might have actually never heard it before. I do remember this one. But the hook on You Make Me Feel is a great hook, completely underserved by its underwhelming backing track. It reeks of two songs that I've highlighted before, a couple of songs which fell under a copyright/plagiarism controversy, or controversy. And even more embarrassingly, You Make Me Feel is the third in the series of that case, which means it's a plagiarism of a plagiarism. But back to the issue with this song. The hook is absolutely stellar. Let's listen to it again.
You'll be that girl, you'll be that girl, you'll be everything you want, so let me get out there.
But honestly, I can't even tell that this is a perfect hook because, well, it's obscured by an underwhelming instrumental. I can't quite tell that it's the kind of hook that could absolutely blow the fuck up 15 years after its initial release on, oh, I don't know, a platform like TikTok. I mean, listen to this lackluster drop. Well, a 23-year-old Complextro producer fucking clocked it. Meet Sumant, or on TikTok, Sumi, who has been producing since he was 11 years old. Yeah, alright motherfucker, when I was 11, I was desperately trying to find out how I could get my hands on a sequencer and some synthesizers. It wasn't so easy to make beats back in 2001, brother, so chill. Anyway, Sumant tells me that he had been playing this Cobra Starship tune every now and then in his DJ sets, and decided to add it to the list of 2010 hits that he absolutely murdered with his over-the-top, incredibly maximalist Complextro production chops. Complextro. Let's not open the can of worms that is that genre today. Suffice to say that Sumi's interpretation of this post-over-the-top dubstep moment and his approach to reviving it in 2026 reminds me a lot of Jane Remover's excellent work on the Daria Core releases. The third of which is definitely the best. If you're not across it, go listen to Daria Core 3. Now, in 2024, Sumant started uploading short clips of his insane remixes to TikTok. This is pretty par for the course for dance music producers on the platform. He would snip sections of his remixes and post them online, like this. And in November of 2025, he posted a snippet of a remix that he and producer friend Doug Sa had recently finished of the aforementioned song You Make Me Feel by Cobra Starship, which, quote, got little to no traction. Okay, no worries. That's what most of the snippets on Sumant's TikTok had been doing. Not much. Then, as release day approached, i.e. the arbitrary date that he and Doug decided that they would masterfully migrate their remix from private to public on SoundCloud, Sumant posted a few more snippets of the remix, the third of which exploded up from his typical 2,000 to 3,000 views to 500,000. Sumant doubled down on the success and posted a few similar clips which as of today have 1.4, 2.5 and 3.5 million views each. Fast forward to the most important part of this story because it involves me, a few days ago, when I open up TikTok on my phone and see this. A good bit of content. But what the fuck is that song? God damn, that hit me like the very train that was being captured in that goated video. Well, we both know the answer to that already because I've just spent the last several minutes talking about it. It was indeed Sumant and Doug Sa with their remix of You Make Me Feel. So I tracked down the source of that sound and found Sumi's account and started asking him all about what the fuck happened here and why. Here's the original video, which now has 2.5 million views. You'll be that girl, you'll be that girl, you'll be everything you want. Samant was relatively surprised that his TikTok account, with 100 followers, suddenly exploded off the back of a 20-second snippet of a Complextro remix he and a friend made. And I am too. Kinda. I mean, instantly when I heard this clip, I was like, holy shit, this fucking owns. So it's very obviously a powerful, emotionally charged, high-energy piece of music. Samant and Doug have done a great job here, but what about this screams, I should show off my handmade mug to this song? Or, this would go perfectly with that video of the minor flooding I recently drove through. Or this. I mean, I kinda get the urge to post something like this. And I guess so many other people did exactly this, to the point where the snippet of the remix was spreading like a virus. What I'm getting at is that this kind of algorithmic eruption of an objectively sick 20 seconds of audio is actually kinda sick to me. We've seen this happen many times before, and we've seen artists actually get pissed off about it happening. I don't know what a Steve Lacy is, but I do remember him getting the shits with people who would come to his concerts literally just to hear the 20-second viral snippet of one of his songs a few years ago.
The way nobody sang the next verse embarrassing as.
And I think previously, if you'd asked me about these kind of viral phenomenons, I'd have kinda been on Steve Lacy's side, but I'm not totally sure that's where I sit anymore. I've listened to the full remix that Samant and Doug put on their SoundCloud a bunch over the last few days, and I'm sorry to say this, but I actually prefer the 20-second clip in isolation to the whole remix. Even when that section of the remix hits, it doesn't have the same impact as when it is suddenly force-fed into my ears at precisely the right section without any setup or context, and then taken away right when I need more. Maybe it's okay that this is the new state of the art. Maybe this is a new art form altogether. Maybe all of these revelations are incredibly old hat and I'm only just catching up now. Maybe there is nothing revelatory about these revelations I'm just having now, and this is all a huge waste of breath. Let's be real, everything I post on the internet is a huge waste of breath. Look, you know when old losers like me are set in their ways and they talk about how the magic of music discovery is gone, like it used to be so much better, like you'd have a friend of a friend who loaned you a few CDs that you fell in love with, and it felt like a really fortuitous convergence of events that led you to discovering that music? Well, I can argue that when I opened my phone the other night and saw this stupid video, it was just as random, fortuitous, and interesting as those kind of experiences. The chance that Samant happened to clip that specific part of his remix, the chance that the right people saw it on TikTok and decided to expertly soundtrack their card tricks with it. Like, this is all just as fucking random and fortuitous as the way that it used to be done. In fact, the way that it used to be done was as much by design and unfortuitous as it could be. Record labels' marketing arms desperately wanted to get that CD into the hands of that friend of a friend. It was no more magical an occurrence than it was capitalism working exactly the way that it's meant to. Yeah, I think I like this new system better, to be honest. It also means that this way I didn't have to have an annoying conversation with and feign interest in that friend of a friend just to get my hands on some sick music. So you know what? I'm gonna embrace the future and I'm gonna start clipping 20-second fragments of my songs and only releasing those segments from now on. We need to push the culture forward. I've forgotten what my point is.